Well, thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it. And so we're going to get going as we have a few minutes only. And we're going to talk about embedded insurance. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Before coming to Amsterdam, when I got the notification to participate at the event, I needed to buy a ticket. I also needed to buy a new computer. And at the same time that I needed to buy a computer, I needed to take a ride share to the airport. And all of those activities were able to get done with the power of my phone, with the power of one click. And that's what we call embedded insurance. Creates affordability, it creates convenience to the user. Why? Because we can do transactions from any place by just one click. When we look at the benefits of embedded insurance, we look at the customer base. We're tapping into new customers. Did you guys know that there are more cell phone users than actually insurance people or insured people? So that's incredible. So in order for that to happen, when we are doing a transaction and we're doing a partnership, we are tapping to their customers and bringing them in. So that's a benefit for the insurer company because it's tapping into a new market. But at the same time, we're improving the conversion rates because we're bringing new opportunities to tap into commissions for the business that is doing the transaction. So let's say an insurance company is tapping in with a merchandise company. The merchandise company also receives a commission on this. So it creates a new opportunity. Embedded insurance is very simple. It's basically what I just described is you have an item that you want to purchase. The solution is presented right there. And you just, with a click, you do an instant coverage. AI underwriting allows us to bring us new opportunities. So if you have two drivers, and let's say driver A and driver B are completely opposite. One is a great driver, and then the other is a person that likes to speed, likes to take a little more risk. So they should have different underwriting. And it gives us to tap into those parametrics and develop a product that is completely for that customer, depending on their basis. So an API allows us to do a great ecosystem. So when we're looking into embedded insurance, we need to look at financial institutions, merchandise companies, technology companies, any kind of company, even food companies could be an embedded insurance. So developing those partnerships depend on an API, plugging into systems. And you need to have a real-time solution. A real-time solution, why? Because when you take a ride share and you go to the airport, that ride might take you just 5 minutes. And you need to make sure that you are insured within those 5 minutes before you actually complete the ride. So in that way, if something happens on that ride and there's an activity, your process is able to give you that insure because it happened within those 5 minutes. The same thing, we were talking to a potential customer earlier today, and he was talking about insuring delivery of money, delivery of food services. And delivery of food services, we're talking a small amount of money that will be charged, but that item needs to be replaced within 30 minutes if for some reason that food is not delivered or something happened. So it is within that instance. So real time is a solution that also needs to happen every single time. There's a regulatory complexity that happens in the embedded insurance. One size doesn't fit all. We look at Latin America or Europe or any country, and we're finding that the regulatory complexity is very different for each one of them. And we need to make sure that we look into all those items and we adapt. And in order to do that, you need to have a solution that allows you to do that in real time and allows you to do that process in a very simple way. We know that legacy systems have a difficulty in plugging in. They're usually plug tools, but they are not able to process things on the cloud in real time. And sometimes they have difficulties. So we need to make sure that the legacy of the systems is there and that we're able to tap into the different aspects and jurisdictions. And also, we need to be aware of the customer trust and awareness. Every single customer is different. When we develop our product, we need to make sure that we're tapping into younger customers to older customers. And because every single customer is different, we need to adjust our product. So there's some customers that want paper. There's some customers that want phone. And because every customer is different, we need to make sure that we adapt. So I'll give you an example. My mom is in her 80s. She likes to do all transactions. She goes on Temu, she buys everything online. But when it's about insurance, she likes to look at forms. She wants to have the product there, and then she wants to upload the forms later. So even if the forms are uploaded later, they need to be uploaded, and that information needs to be processed in real time. Because if we're presenting a solution to a mobile user, or a regular user that is going to look at paper, we need to make sure that we compensate in each one of the aspects. So the embedded insurance is about creating awareness and trust for any type of users. And when we look at embedded insurance, we need to make sure that we invest in APIs. Why APIs? Because those are the components that are going to let us to develop those strategic partnerships. We're talking about Airbnb, Uber, technology products, anything. Anything could be an embedded insurance. And that's the power of today. One click. Those partnerships, like I said, they could be in the insurance, they could be in the financial institutions, e-commerce, anyone. So whatever you can think of, I'll give you an example. In Brazil, I was working with in the agro industry, and they were asking, can I insure something that is parametric based on the John Deere machine that I bought, and I can insure my crop? That's a fascinating story, but yes, it could be possible with embedded insurance. So whatever you can think of, it could happen with embedded insurance. It's just how you're going to create those aspects and develop the process to have it available and process the information. And of course, the most important is you have to adapt to regulatory measurements. Go back to Brazil. Brazil requires a little more capital on reserves. And at the same time, you have trust with the customers' information. They have to be very secure. While in Mexico, it's completely different. And we're going to find those examples in Europe as well. Every single country is different. The regulatory is different. And we need to make sure that we adapt to all of them. There's a growth on demand on the embedded insurance. Why? Because it's quick, it's fast, it adapts to every single market. And we need to kind of make sure that we make that leap. And there's an expansion into underserved markets. I talked about there's more people with cell phones than they are insured. And that's a potential opportunity there. So we need to make sure that also the bank has an opportunity to tap into insurance. So if they're going to go into buying a cell phone, more than likely, if we have a product over there, when they buy their cell phone, we're already building a relationship with them. And that relationship immediately can tier up to another insurance product that we can tap in with them. So we need to develop those relationships and those product opportunities to grow with them. And there's a call to action. We need to invest in flexible systems. We need to invest in technology that will allow us to develop the partnerships that would allow us to have multiple partners in an ecosystem. And to close this, I want to present you a little video that kind of presents the full experience.
Every day, thousands of rideshare drivers in Brazil hit the road, getting people where they need to go. But what happens when something goes wrong? Meet João, a Vamos driver. João works long hours, and every day on the road brings new risks. But like many drivers, João found insurance expensive, complicated, and unreliable. And when accidents happened, help was never fast enough. Vamos teamed up with Solutions Flex to change the game. Now, drivers like João don't have to think about insurance. It's built into every ride. For just $0.50 per trip, João and his passengers are covered automatically. And if something happens, claims are processed digitally in just 48 hours. The results? 85% of Vamos drivers signed up, insurance claims became faster than ever, and Vamos's customer retention and revenue soared. More protection, happier drivers, and a safer ride for all. Embedded insurance is changing the ride-sharing industry, boosting safety, trust, and business growth. The question is, how soon can you start?
So let me ask you guys a question. At what stage are you with embedded insurance? Are you looking into structuring embedded insurance in your organization? What attracts you about embedded insurance? Anybody?
Feel free to use this. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Can we do like more volume using embedded insurance, or is it a strategy of quality?
It's both. Thus, embedded insurance is about making sure that we create quality in a process that is unique, and at the same time, we create thousands of transactions. Going back to the potential customer that we were talking earlier today, he does 1.6 million transactions in 1 month. So that's volume. What he makes on it is very small, but he creates an opportunity. He needs that process to be quality. So embedded insurance is about adapting both in real time.
Thank you. And what kind of solution can allow us to do that?
Well, in order to do that, you need a flexible system. You need a platform that will allow you to do everything in real time. And I'm endorsing the company that I work for, and Sunlight Solutions, but also there's a lot of other platforms that will allow you that flexibility.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. Do you maybe have example of bank, for example, that offers embedded solutions and how it was made? Meaning, do you have maybe some use case? It can be bank or e-commerce or something like this.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. A bank trying to protect the crop of an institution. So I talked a little bit about it. The bank was the one that gave them the money to actually have the harvest, and so he invested on this farmer, and at the same time, the farmer is making sure that El Niño or La Niña, for some reason, in a parametric world, if something happens, that he's protected. And why? Because the bank wants to make sure that he recoups the money, and also the farmer wants to get back to planting. So that's a great opportunity, for a bank to actually coexist with a product. There's a lot of banks have many solutions. You can have embedded insurance for a car loan, where you can also protect your investment.
Yes, but it's not really API needed. Let's say API is not needed for.
Sorry,
So API is really not, I think, not needed for that. I meant because banks have a lot of data, meaning they can follow customer behavior actually based on the account statements, and they know where customer purchases, what customer purchases. And then in this right moment of purchase or based on behavior to offer the right insurance product.
Yeah, but whenever you do a partnership with another third-party vendor. So let's say a bank is working with a technology company. They're providing the loan, to buy the television or whatever you want. Whenever there's a third party involved, you need to have an API, because there's data that needs to be used in both sides. So that's why an API is needed. So banks have their customers. So you only do business with your customers, you're only going to grow that much. But if you do partnerships with other organizations, that's where you can see significant growth. And that's where you need an API.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Love this. You asked us, by the way, I'm Holm from Tiger Lab, global insurtech company based in Switzerland. You asked us where we are with embedded insurance. We do have, I do fully agree with you, embedded insurance, scalable. We do hundreds of thousands of tickets transactions in Thailand, completely fully API. It's a great business model, and I think if you do it right, it's easily integratable, and it's a wonderful customer experience if you put the right user interface on the top of that. So I think it's a great business model. If you put some AI topics on the top of that, you can elevate even the integration capabilities. So it's, just wanted to say, awesome presentation. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.